because I kind of knew I would get accepted into, you know, one of the kind of, you know, not lower, but kind of the more easier or not as like tough schools. But it was like that. There was one program that I wanted to go to. It was a little bit cheaper, and it just felt right to me when I visited the campus and all that. I said, okay, if you let me get accepted here, then I know that you want me to go to this one. If not, then okay. And so that was kind of a big deal for me to kind of like surrender my will. I was like, no, what is it that you want for my life? At that time, I kind of wanted to do missions or ministry, even though I was nowhere near prepared or ready to do that. My faith was not strong enough, nowhere near that. You know, and so I don't know if you're able to ask God those kind of things and demand like that, but that's what I did, and I got accepted. And so then I was like, okay, that's your sign from, I'm taking that as a sign from you that you want me to go through to grad school there. And you know, I just prayed so much, oh please let there be a Christian or some Christians in my class that I could have some fellowship with, or please help me to find a church. You know, and when I went to grad school out in Iowa, ooh, man, was I thrown in for a loop. It was, yeah, those 2 years of grad school were the two worst years and the best years of my life. It was the worst in terms of like suffering that I went through, but it was, I say the best because my faith was strengthened so much, and I learned so much about ELOHIM-YAH's faithfulness and goodness, and just more about who they are. And you know, it just kind of feel that it just prepared me more for, you know, where I eventually got to. You know, it was just very hard to be there. First of all, you know, it was hard to go from my Christian college where there was just an incredible amount of support, you know, in a Christ community. I was searching for that in a church. And it was really hard to be out back in the real world again. We always joked that our college was like the bubble, and it really was. But I mean, it was a great thing to be around people who were seeking the Lord and wanted to follow Him, to go into this environment that I was so unused to, the real world. You know, where people don't care about God. They're not, you know, they don't have that same love, that same spirit, that, you know, that family kind of atmosphere, that brotherhood that I experienced at this Christian college. And it was like a rude awakening. There was a couple people in my class who were Christian, or at least claimed to be Christian. There was really only one person who I would have considered anywhere near like a real Christian. She was like really involved with her, you know, Bible study, and she like not Bible study, like youth group or something for like, she mentored like the middle school girls and things like that. So I'd kind of gone to church with her, but it was like one of those bigger mega churches. Not a super mega church because it wasn't a super large town in Iowa. And yeah, I don't know, I just, it didn't really, again, it didn't feel right to me. Feelings aren't always like the best judge of how to make decisions, you know, because feelings are sometimes often of the flesh. But I don't know, I think it was just I don't know if it was like a grieving in my spirit, or just, you know, I knew I wanted more in a church. I didn't know what it was. I remember, you know, when I was in college, when we were kind of going, me and some of my friends were kind of growing more spiritually, we would read Acts. Each one of us had our different phases where we would go and read through Acts, and it was just incredible to see what the first church was like. So on fire, you know, filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and Holy Spirit. And it was like, why isn't our church like this? You know, it's nothing like this. So the churches we go to, we don't see this at all. And it was so disappointing. And that's, you know, I'm like, man, this is what I want. Why can't I find this? And that's what I was looking for in a church. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to waste my time going to, you know, a church to hear some guy talk. Maybe that sounds really proud and arrogant, but it was like, you know, I can spend time with my God one-on-one, reading the Bible, worshiping Him, choosing the songs that I feel, you know, convey how I feel towards Him, you know, as opposed to, wow, that sounds so proud and arrogant, you know, as opposed to songs somebody else picks, you know, or that, you know, them talking about other stuff, like, it's just like, I don't know, I was just searching and searching it, and, you know, I would kind of try and look up other churches, you know, before really joining them, but just never really, none of them really seemed to click or be right. I don't think I ever ended up going to any other church besides that one that my classmate was very involved in. So, yeah, you know, but eventually, so that first year of grad school was really tough, but, you know, I was, you know, not always treated the best. There were some not so nice people in my class, and I was very shy, I was very quiet, awkward, and, you know, and of course, the way everybody celebrates, you know, after we have a big test or, you know, hard week, everybody goes out to drink, right? I was like, I have no part of that. I do not drink. Our denomination in college, that Christian denomination, was dry. I was like, nope, I have no part with alcohol. So I didn't even want to be around it. So I would never go out. That was kind of strange. I don't know. I mean, you know, and I was very depressed. I didn't go out at all. It was so hard I'm an introvert, but I hated living alone. It was so hard to live alone with nobody else. But, you know, in the beginning, even though it was hard, you know, it was just very stressful too. On top of that, and it was so much doubt. I don't know if I can get through this. I don't know if this is what the Lord wanted me to do. I was starting to doubt that. I said, how can I do this? You know, how can I pass through this program? If I pass through the program, you know, will I fail the boards? If I pass the boards, will I be so bad at my job I get fired? It was just so bad, like the anxiety and the depression. And but really the first semester, I still, you know, that sadness and that fear drove me to ELOHIM-YAH, and, you know, I would read the Word, and I would pray, and I would journal, and that was good. And then, oh, sorry, that was like a fly. And towards the end of my first year, I was trying to be more serious and do more, take my faith seriously, and I started to pray for persecuted Christians. Open Doors is an organization. They have like a calendar, you know, for different people, different countries to like pray for specific stuff. And I would go through and I would pray through like the whole month, and like a month before, like each day for like, I don't know, an hour or more. And I'm not trying to brag, but I would really try and intercede for those people, not just kind of like, oh, help these people in Uzbekistan and China, you know, help them overcome. It was like I would really try and stand in their place and intercede for them. You know, I was really moved by that one verse in Hebrews. I'm going to read it to you. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh. Yeah, it was like Hebrews 14, I think. Hebrews 13, 14. Hebrews 13. Oh, shoot. Remember those who are in prison as though you were in prison with them. Those who are being tortured as though you yourselves were being tortured. So that was a verse that I read, and I was really moved. You know what? I can't imagine what they're going through, and I really want to pray for them. And I didn't really have a full understanding of spiritual warfare at the time. So I did that diligently for about like 2 weeks, and then, I don't know, finals kicked in, and I kind of, you know, stopped for a little bit, and then it just kind of ended, and then, whew, did I get, and then the spiritual warfare, I didn't realize it 100% of the time, kind of kicked in from that, like the end of my first year, and I was not very equipped to fight it, and I kind of thought, is this kind of Satan attacking me, sort of, for doing that? Because I remember a friend once told me, you know, when you really go all out for God or start to grow closer to God, that's when the devil attacks you. When you're a threat to his kingdom of darkness, that's when he attacks you. That's not something my professors ever taught me. That was one of my friends in college, and that's kind of what happened. So he worked very hard to keep me away from the Lord, to discourage me in so many ways, to not pray or read my Bible as much, and that's kind of what happened my second year. Hardest year, well, yeah, harder year of the program, and oh, it was so stressful. Like, I didn't do that great. I failed a test once, like an important one. That was very discouraging. It was so very difficult to get through that, not having much support. I lived by myself. I didn't have any friends out there. My only friend was YAHUSHUA. Part of that had to do with the depression, and I just want, and I kind of kept people out too, and I just wanted the real deal. I was still searching and searching for that real, true, real Christians. That's what I was really looking for, the kind that I read about in Acts, in the first church that were so sold out and on fire for ELOHIM-YAH. And I'd come across this documentary. It's called The Bitter Cup. It was about these Christians in China. It was absolutely incredible. And I thought, it was just stories about them being persecuted and just the incredible love they had for God. And I'll try and link down one of those clips so you can see what I'm talking about. And I thought, man, this is the real deal. How come I've never seen this? I've never seen this in America. I've never seen this amongst my elders. This is what I've been looking for and waiting for. And I never saw that. And yeah, I'll get back to that in a little bit. So really difficult, but the Lord sustained me through that second year, even though I wasn't really seeking Him, and I was kind of falling away to sit in a lot of idolatry. So much of my time was wasted watching TV that wasn't even that entertaining, honestly. And that's, listening to music, and just, I was very lazy. I didn't put my best effort into school. Part of it is related to depression, the depression too. But I was lazy. I'm not gonna, make excuses for it entirely. And, but by the grace of God, He helped me get through school. He strengthened me even when I was far from Him and walking in sin, walking in lust and all these different things, not coming to Him. He still strengthened me, still encouraged me, still helped me get through all of that program and to eventually pass. And then I passed all my internships and whatnot. And I graduated, and let's see, that was about last December. So then I came home and I had to study for the boards, help me pass the boards. Praise Yahushua. So that was great. And then it was kind of this window after I passed the boards, sort of this window of finding a job. And I wasn't, I had several months before I found a job, but everybody told me, don't rush to find a job. Enjoy the little time that you have, because once you work, it just doesn't, you don't really get much of a break or a vacation. So, I was trying to seek the Lord. In the midst of that, my sister, was learning about how it's the end times, and then she was telling me about this, and I was kind of like, oh no. I was telling her, my professor said, every generation thinks they're the end time generation. But it's like, and stuff, and but now I think about it, it's like, well, one of them actually has to be. Newsflash, that's us. That's what I kind of realized. And she was telling me about this guy. He had this testimony. He used to be like this devil worshiper. He was like number 2 devil worshiper in New York, and then he came to the Lord and this and that. And she got his book, and it was about spiritual warfare, because he was, he worked for Satan, and it opened my eyes so much to spiritual warfare, and just the reality of it, and how we have zero, like in modern church, we have like no concept of this, and it's like, whoa, totally mind-blowing. And then there was this other pastor. She was really into a lot of like some of the prophecy stuff, and it was Dave Wilkerson. He had this prophecy from like 1970 something, and it was about like the end times, and it was crazy to listen to, because it was like so on point, like so accurate to the time that we are living in right now. And I was like, whoa. And she would listen to him, and I started listening to some of his sermons, and it was like, wow, this guy is like, he was not like any pastor I'd heard before. He was like serious. He was like the real deal, telling it like it is. And he was talking about how he used to spend so much time watching TV, and how